In section 4, we are looking at the terms traits, genes, and alleles and figuring out what those things have to do with genetics. And they're going to be important because we're going to end up using them for quite a while this semester, and you're going to definitely need to know what they are. So the same gene can have many versions of itself. So a gene is a piece of DNA that directs a cell to make a certain protein. So it has information saying, here's what needs to be made. Each gene has a locus or a location, which is going to be a specific position on a pair of homologous chromosomes. So for example, if we're looking at the peas, there's a specific spot telling the plant whether it's going to be wrinkled or smooth for the shape of the pea. An allele, I had mentioned this in the last section, an allele is an alternate form of a gene occurring at a specific location on the chromosome. So each parent is going to donate one allele for every gene. So for example, if we're talking about the height of the plant, height is the gene, and the alleles would be tall or short. If you have the same alleles, it is referred to as being homozygous. So two of the same alleles are homozygous. So that'd be, and we usually write alleles as capital or lowercase letters. So if it's dominant, it's going to be capital. If it's lowercase, that means it's going to be recessive. So two capitals or two lowercase, that would be homozygous. Heterozygous is going to describe two different alleles. So that would be a capital and a lowercase. So genes influence the development of traits. All of an organism's genetic material is carried in the genome, which is all of the organism's genetic information. A genotype refers to the makeup of a specific set of genes. So it's another way of saying the genetic makeup or the allele combination that you would find in the organism. So if the plant was tall, was it homozygous tall or was it heterozygous tall? A phenotype is the actual physical expression of a trait. So what you actually see in the organism is what the phenotype is. So that is a phenotype. Alleles can be represented by using letters. Like I said, you want to use the same letter throughout. So if you're saying T for tall, then the short should be a lowercase t. So a dominant allele is expressed as a phenotype when at least one allele is dominant. A recessive allele is expressed as a phenotype only when you get two copies of that recessive. So if you have a dominant allele, you're going to end up seeing usually the dominant trait. The only way you see a recessive trait is you need to get an allele from both parents in order for you to see that in the organism. Dominant alleles are represented by uppercase letters, and the recessive alleles, like I said, are lowercase letters. So, and that's what you see over there on the side is talking about the genotype and the phenotype there. Both homozygous dominant and heterozygous genotypes yield a dominant phenotype. So if you look at an organism, there's no way to really tell for sure if they're showing the dominant trait. Are they homozygous or are they heterozygous? Most traits occur in a range and do not follow the simple dominant to recessive patterns. And we'll talk about those in a future section on the exceptions to the rules. So that is the end of the notes for section 4.